Oh, we love her. Give her some love. She's a well-known event host, voiceover artist, international social influencer, and UNOIA CBD Honey and Agave co-founder. What's up, girl? All right, next up we've got Danielle Gray, and she is a national keynote speaker, a self-proclaimed marketing nerd, and co-founder of UNOIA CBD Honey and Agave Company. Come on up, Danielle. Last but not least, we've got Trista Okel, from formulating new products to running her company, Empower Body Care. She's the founder and CEO. Trista Okel has also been in the cannabis industry since 2013. She's excited to be able to add her experience and perspective to this panel of trailblazing women in cannabis. Put your hands together.
That was a great introduction. Do you want to?
So we're going to just go ahead and share our experiences within the industry and how we all got started. And if you have any questions while all that's going on, please feel free to just raise your hand and we'll make sure you get a mic and you can ask anything that you want, because I know this is going to be really interesting. So let's begin with Trista, because Trista, you've been in this since 2013. And Danielle and I got into this 3 years ago, and it's been, excuse my French, a shit show. You know, like everything's forever changing, nothing stays the same. Should I buy this product? Will I still be allowed to sell it in 6 months? You know, it's like, what do we do? Where do I go? So I would love to hear more about your story, because I know you got twists and turns.
So many twists and turns, right? I got involved in, well, first of all, I started formulating products in 2004 because my mom deals with some severe arthritis issues, and I wanted to help keep her off of harmful pharmaceuticals for as long as possible in life. And so even from the very first iteration of my first topical product, she was able to go from an 8 to a 3 and on these levels, and it was amazing. It got me started wanting to share with other people, of course, because, I mean, she is my mom, and there could be some placebo effect there, right? So I shared with so many people, and I kept getting the same feedback over and over again. And after many trials and tribulations, I launched the company in 2013 into the Oregon medical marijuana market. And in 2014, I launched my CBD line, which now is available in stores like Nordstrom. And that's been a wild ride and a lot of fun, and there's also been lots and lots of tears, folks. Lots and lots of tears. So, well, we're here. We got through COVID. Can I just get a round of applause for all the companies that have made it through?
We made it!
Amen. Right? Because so many didn't. So, we got super fortunate, lucky with that. What else? What else do you want to know?
Well, no, just the intro is great, because then we'll get into some stories.
Cool. Okay, great.
Thank you for sharing.
My pleasure.
All right, Miss Swan, what you got over there? Tell me who you are, all the things you got going on.
Well, let's see. I am the master of my domain here in Atlanta. I really started in this space. When I say master of my domain, I just stick with my tribe. I don't go outside of that. And I got started in this space really on the research side when I moved to Las Vegas in 2015. I spent some time there studying, researching. I'm a chef, so I spent time formulating a couple of years after that. And then I moved back to Atlanta because I thought this would be a great opportunity to bring this industry and what I've learned to Atlanta and just create a wealth of opportunity here for other women and other people, and to help people start their health journey by what they have on their plate. So we do CBD infusion, I do coaching, I coach people on the business side of this industry because people just got to understand this is a business. And so I've been doing that since 2018 officially, and we're just really excited to be here and excited to still be here after COVID.
All right, awesome, thank you. All right, so next up we have Danielle and myself with World of UNOIA, or UNOIA. So Danny, you can begin.
Sure. So it's interesting to be here with you. I see you all the time. I guess my experience is fairly new, actually. We were just talking about this a little bit. Both of us were college athletes, so we were told you cannot smoke, you cannot, all of that stuff is super bad.
I was so judgmental
Yeah, we were
of everything cannabis.
Right. I was like, no, I do not smoke, right? So I actually I wasn't even introduced to cannabis until I was about 27, 28.
Same.
So I was it was much later in life, but what we experienced was two things. One was our dog, actually. Our dog was experiencing a lot of seizures, and I can let you jump into that.
So my dog Ruby Rose really had a tough time. She was a super tiny teacup Yorkie, and she had seizures her whole life. Like, so she had a couple of them, and then she had this big Mac Daddy one that she couldn't even walk anymore.
Wow.
And the vet gave her this compound that would just knock her out, and she couldn't even walk. And I'm like, there's got to be something else. So we took her to a holistic vet here in Atlanta, and then I was questioning the CBD to see if that would help, and my doctor said, well, you can try it. And it helped give her appetite back. She felt more confident. You know, like she was walking and thought she was gonna have a seizure, so she was terrified. Her anxiety was through the roof. I was giving her the same amount of CBD I would give like a 60-pound-year-old dog, and that helped her so much. So I feel like a lot of people that look at their pets and they see that CBD works, they go, I wonder if that'll do the same for me. And it really, really has benefited my life specifically because I can be very anxious, and sometimes I'm a very social person, but I'm human and I get nervous, and sometimes I can't sleep at night, and CBD has really helped. It just has helped me have a more beautiful perspective and really just tap into myself. And I just can't even believe that I have a CBD company and I was completely anti-cannabis. You know, your view can change, especially with the education that's presented to you. You cannot ignore the research, and you can't ignore all these people that are, you know, really surviving cancer. You know, like you really have to just be like, okay, let me do the research. It's at my fingertips.
And the other thing too, to build on that, you know, we had the dog, and then I have a marketing firm, so I'm a marketing nerd. That's how this really started. It became a little a project, and then so we picked it up, put it down, picked it up. We were originally Honey Bunny, and then from there we started our company UNOIA, which means beautiful thinking, and we realized that cannabis is more than just helps with medical things. I think it also helps with mental health. Absolutely. So that's really where we lived, and it was really fun to design the logo, design all those things, because it was our baby. So she came up with all the ideas, and I just made it look the way I think we wanted it to look, which is very quality and all of that. So yeah.
Cool. All right, so you guys kind of have a gist of what we do and where we've been and involved in cannabis. Do you guys have any questions yet? Nothing?
I have a question for the panel.
Sure.
So since it's a women in cannabis panel, what have you experienced? Do you feel like it's been a different experience as a woman versus a man, and what is that? You know, you gotta ask, right? So.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, 100% different. The experiences I've had in the business have been crazy, to say the least. I don't want to go too dark on this, but like, you know, potential investors, etc. Some people are pretty inappropriate in life. So it's definitely been a different experience than if we were men in business.
So, my experience, I already knew it was going to be a challenge because I'm a woman, I'm a LGBTX person, I'm black. So I having to deal with all of these things in life, and now I want to go into a space where
Yeah.
everybody's oppressed in that group.
Yeah.
And so I like numbers and data, and I think we need to just make sure everybody just really understands. Women make up a very small percentage of owners in this space. Like the venture capital, fortunately for me, my company, I built my company in such a way that I was able to get venture capital behind my company very early on, like a year later. But that's because I spent the time and did the work for that. However, only 2.2% of women get any outside capital in this space. That's very small. On the executive level, the CBD companies, some of the large companies you see here and around this country, only 36.8% have women at a senior level working in these companies. Of that 36.8%, only about 27% of those are at an executive or CEO level. So, do we have opportunity? Yes. But do we have a lot of work to do? Absolutely. So what we have to do is not get caught up in coming to places and seeing a lot of women, because the reality is women are very underrepresented in this space. People of color are even less represented in this space. So we have a lot of work to do. So I would like to talk about the work that we need to do.
Wait, I want to add one thing.
Yeah.
0.7% of LGBTQ businesses get venture capital, and that doesn't include the CBD and cannabis that brings that number down even more. So you found the needle in the haystack.
I've been blessed.
Seriously.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's
I have
amazing.
been.
That's amazing. I've been looking since 2015. So
If you're
just to put that in perspective.
How has your experience in banking been? 'Cause I know ours was a little turbulent, and we couldn't keep a website up for some time, and the amount of money that they're trying to get us for monthly just for transactions and having selling cannabis, period. Like, they're really making it very difficult overall. And on top of that, being women and entering these spaces, it's kind of like, what do I do? Do I have to partner with someone in order for my brand to grow, or can I do this on my own? It's really, really difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You want to talk right here?
Well, I was going to jump in too, was that we had to partner with people. We didn't have to. We chose to because we didn't have certain skills that, first, to Swan's point, just as far as being a person of color and coming from certain communities, I did not have access to certain education. Not that it wasn't, let me not say access, I wasn't taught them in a family setting. There was certain things that I just did not grow up knowing that I think certain other communities do have a little bit more just experience with, right? Finance, accounting, understanding loans and all those things. So I really do want to hear a lot about Swan, how you, like, what do you think that we should do? Because I don't want to focus on obviously just, how hard it's been, because everybody's got their story, right? So what are your thoughts? I know you were going into that a second ago.
Well, first of all, it is a shameless plug. I'm going to say that in advance. I am America's #1 CBD and cannabis coach for a reason. All of these problems these women are talking about, I have a solution to them, because there are solutions to these problems.
That's awesome.
The banking issue, for example. I spent 20 years in merchant services. I spent 20 years on the banking side of the side, meaning the processing side, not working at a bank, but the credit card processing side, which is probably mission critical, because if you cannot receive a payment, you do not make any money.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that some people think you can go to Bank of America and all these other banks and just open up a bank account and do this business, you will get shut down.
Yeah.
Legally, they can confiscate your money if they find out you are in the legal CBD space. So there are things that you have to know. Now, how did I learn these things? I've been in business for more than 30 years before I got into cannabis. And so I put in the work to set this up as a business. I set it up as a business. It is a tool, an asset for me. You know, I took my company, and this is not to brag, but I just want to share this with you since I have your attention, and I have everybody's attention. So I took this from a $10 smoothie with my first customer sitting in front. The first customer ever gave me a chance walking in my door with a $10 smoothie, and took it from that, working in a shared kitchen, going against all of the laws and the odds here in the metro area, in the state, and I built that with my customers and my clients and my team into a $12 million asset. You know, some couple of years later, we was worth $7, $8 million. Now, even through COVID, we're worth $12 million and counting. So with regard to banking and partnering, I have none. I don't want to share my money with nobody. I have overcome. I don't want to go get nobody else, bring in and take nothing from me. I don't want to partner with nobody outside of me, other than the venture capital that I did take. But I only gave them a very small percentage of my business in exchange for that. And everything else, I partner with other women. And I show them how to grow and build and network and do this thing the right way, because it's a business. But it is a challenge. You know, don't think it has. I have had many tireless nights, sleepless nights. You know, didn't know how certain things were going to get paid. Could not find people to work for me. Nobody even wanted to invite me to places. I remember when I first got started, people thought I was a joke in Atlanta. I couldn't get to a stage to speak. Nobody wanted to hear a darn thing I had to say. They thought Cannabis BISTRO was going to fail because of CBD infusion and cannabis infusion. And it was like, you selling $5 smoothies, that ain't no big deal. But see, they don't know numbers like I know. They don't know math like I know. They don't know multiplication, duplication, replication I know.
Come on!
So I hope that answers it.
I love that. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm like, so the other piece of this, and I really appreciate that, because I feel like we need to talk to her after. But the other piece that I find that I feel like you guys have so much experience, obviously, even before being in this industry. And I think what I would like to kind of bring to the audience too is I brought a level of marketing experience and brand development. So, you know, I think that while I'm learning the business, I'm also thinking about how can we create a really good brand.
That's right.
And a brand that people can connect to. So, if you are in this audience thinking about or already have a company, I just wanted to share a couple of things as far as branding, and I think all of us could probably jump in because we have different strategies and experiences. One thing that I feel like is very important is that you really need to understand your audience. There's not, I can't stress that enough. People think there's like, oh yeah, it's everybody. Everybody's my audience. Well, no, that's not true. It doesn't have to be women at, you know, this age to this age. That's not real, right? But what are their mindsets? What do they like to do? So for example, we're going from a mental health standpoint. We are targeting people that care about their mental health, that care about their bodies and trying to do something better with themselves. So when you understand your audience, you can create things for them, right? So we do meditations, we do walks, we do all those things because CBD is only a tool. It's just a part of the equation of a healthy lifestyle. And then the other thing is, make sure your branding looks good. I can't stress that, especially as a female company. If you're a black-owned company, LGBT-owned, which we're all of those things too, and we live together. Look, we're running a business and we together.
This is our child.
Yeah, this is. So we'd be fighting about it, but yeah, really understanding your branding and making sure if you do need to invest the dollars into making sure it looks good, then do that. Because the truth is that people need to trust it, especially in this space.
Yeah.
They have got to trust your product. And if it does not look good, if you are using cheaper labels and it's looking, I hate to say ashy, but that's the first word that came to mind, making sure that your branding looks good, that is really going to set the tone for how people even receive your product. So any other,
Research too. Like, it's not about the things that you like. as much as you want to sell gummies and all that, a lot of things are oversaturated. So making sure that you're doing the research and seeing what people want, need in your community or whoever you're reaching out to, and making sure that the education piece is huge. Because there's a lot of people entering this space that have no idea what CBD is. And you can be that company that keeps that customer forever, getting them in the door, building that trust and showing them what CBD is, what it can do for you, and all of those things without medical claims. A lot of people have their own experiences and customer reviews and all by themselves that you could look up.
I'd love to add to that building trust with your customers. One really great way to do that is to always, every single batch of product that you make, not only is the CBD extract, whatever form it comes in, fully tested, but the finished product should also be fully tested. And in fact, in some states it's required. And when I say fully tested, what I mean by that is at least 2 potency tests, so that you're making sure that the product is also homogeneous throughout the batch, so that everybody is getting the same amount of CBD in their product when they purchase it. You also want to test for residual solvents, pesticides, heavy metals, and microbiological activity, including fungus, mold, mildew, E. coli, and if it's a edible product, you also want to test for salmonella and possibly listeria. So you definitely want to make sure that your products are clean and that you have the documentation, the certificate of analysis from a certified lab in order to prove and back up what you're saying about the purity and the cleanness of your products. And now I know that costs a lot of money, right? What I just mentioned is about, for the foods, probably $700 in testing.
Each
Per test.
product.
For each product, for each batch, right? Now, that said though, you are setting yourself apart from the other brands out there that don't test, and you're making sure that you're holding yourself to a higher standard, which does promote trust from customers. I've been in business since 2013, and my customers know my products are clean. And they know that because I've been testing like this for many years, long before it was required, or it's not even required, but from some states like Utah and Louisiana require this kind of testing. So anyway, it's important to know the rules of each state that you want to sell into, and also to maintain that trust with your customer by making sure your products are absolutely clean.
So these are all very important elements, absolutely. And I think Danielle spoke to the fact that you really need to understand who your customer is, but how you really